What's going on, picks and parlays and winners and whiners family? I'm David Delano, and I have three marquee college basketball games for you guys that I'm going to give you picks for Valentine's Day here, 2026. We're going to talk about the game between Purdue and Iowa. We're going to talk about Houston going up against Kansas State, and we're also going to talk about Kansas, the red hot Kansas Jayhawks, now on the road against Iowa State, and it could potentially be a nice revenge spot for Iowa State. And we're going to go ahead and start here in the Big 12 with Kansas against Iowa State. This is going to be the first game on the card, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Valentine's Day. And you got a Kansas team here, 19-5 overall, 16-8 against the spread. Iowa State 21-3, 14-10 against the spread. Both of these teams have been dominant teams towards the under. Eight overs and 16 unders for Kansas, 11 overs and 13 unders for Iowa State. And Kansas coming into this one, they have won the last two games in the series, including a month ago, back on January 13th, as a 3.5-point home underdog. They blew out the Iowa State Cyclones 84-63. Now, it is worth mentioning that game was Kansas was the home team in that game, and now the home team has covered the number in the last three head-to-head meetings. Kansas right now has been rolling, though. They're on a 7-game winning streak, which started with that win over Iowa State, and they're coming off of a big home win as a 4.5-point underdog to Arizona, 82-78. A big thing going around this freshman Darren Peterson. There were questions if he would play. He's averaging over 20 points per game, a big part of this Kansas team. But Peterson did not play against Arizona, and the Jayhawks still got the win. They did just announce that he is good to go for this game. I know that Iowa State is the home team in this one. They do have the revenge factor on their side, and also Iowa State coming off of a disappointing road loss to TCU, which snapped a 5-game winning streak for them. But I think that this is just too many points. I really like the way that the Kansas Jayhawks are playing. I understand that home court advantage in Ames is real, but I think that it's factored into the price right here. And Peterson going, I have to go ahead and take the Kansas Jayhawks at plus 7.5. It's the early line over on early line right now as I'm recording this shortly after the lines have came out on Friday. Always make sure to wager responsibly. I know it's Valentine's Day, but make sure you have a good feel on the games that you want to play. And I do have my top plays over on picksandparlays.net along with winnersandwhiners.com. And anyone on the site over there, you can save 25% off anything over there with promo code PNP25 on all premium picks and best bets. All right, next game that we're looking at, we're going to go to the Big Ten, and we are looking at a game here between another game in Iowa. This one's going to be involving the Iowa Hawkeyes going up against the Purdue Boilermakers in this one. Purdue is a 2-point favorite on the road here. Boilermakers 20-4 overall, 11-13 against the spread. They played 10 overs and 14 unders. Iowa's been a better team to the over, 16 overs and 8 unders. Iowa 18-6 straight up on the season, but they've also been better against the spread at 15-9. We got a Purdue team that's number 9 in the KenPom rankings, and Iowa is number 23 overall. As we break this down further, when Iowa has the ball, you got an Iowa team that is 19th in the nation in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're 11th in effective field goal percentage, 41st best three-point shooting team, 11th best team from two-point range, and 32nd best team from the free throw line. Purdue's third in adjusted offensive efficiency, 12 in effective field goal percentage, 24th from three, 19th from two-point range. Both of these teams shine on the offensive end. Purdue 22nd in adjusted defensive efficiency, and Iowa is 31st. Overall, of course, Purdue does come out as the slightly better team. And when you look at this rivalry head-to-head, Purdue has won the last 5 straight up. Although Iowa did cover the number when these teams met a month ago. Purdue was the home team in that one. Purdue was a 10.5-point favorite. And Purdue got the 79 to 72 win. So they won, but they did not cover. Thing here, Purdue coming off of a big road win as a 1.5-point dog against Nebraska. And now when you look at what's coming up next for Purdue, they've got a big matchup against Michigan on deck on the 17th, and they've got Indiana, and then they have Michigan State. Not saying that they're looking that far ahead, but after the road game against Nebraska and then Michigan coming up, this is a little bit of a tough spot for them. On the other side, we have an Iowa team that's been playing really well. They just had a 6-game winning streak snapped against Maryland on the road on Wednesday, 77 to 70, losing as a 10.5-point favorite. I do like Iowa to bounce back here in this spot. I'm going to go ahead and have to ride with the Iowa Hawkeyes in this one at +2. Let me know what you guys' favorite picks are. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I usually like these obsolete games a little bit more, and I will have my top play over on winnersandwhiners.com along with picks and parlays.net. Let me know what you guys like for this Saturday, as it's always interesting. Hopefully you guys get to check out some of these games today. Last game we're looking at, and Houston has been a team that we've talked about quite a bit. You got Houston going up against Kansas State. Houston's a 22.5-point favorite in this one. Kansas State hasn't been playing well at all. I mean, even before the Big 12 season started, they got hammered 82 to 66 as a 12.5-point home favorite against my Bowling Green Falcons. A lot of it's been kind of downhill from there. Now only one win in Big 12 play. Their head coach mentioned after this 91 to 62 loss that they're coming off of as only a 2.5-point underdog at home against Cincinnati, that this team is pretty much given up. He said a lot of these guys, they don't deserve to wear the Kansas State uniform, and they will not be wearing it next year. I don't think that this is going to be a very nice game for them going up against a Houston team that's a national championship contender once again. Houston 22-2 overall. They're coming off of a 66 to 52 win over Utah. They didn't cover that 16.5-point number, and I actually was on Utah in that one against the spread. I thought that number was just too high, but still, Cougars are 7-2 against the number in their last 9 games, 22.5 points here. Do they go ahead and cover this whole thing? Here's the thing for me. In these games where Kansas State's been getting blown out, they've been getting blown out early and just letting it be known. Just against Cincinnati, some of the other games prior, they've been getting blown out in halftime. And then the second half, we haven't seen necessarily the biggest margin later on. So any chance that Kansas State has to cover this 22.5, if you like Houston to cover the big number, I think Houston is going to be up big at the half. And that's the way that I'm going to go with this one. I'm only going to play the first half in this one. I think that 12.5 is light. I think Houston's probably winning this game by at least 15 points at the half, whether they win this by 19 or whether they win this by 24. You know, things can happen late in the game, but I do think that Houston's going to come out strong, and I don't think Kansas State has much of a chance in this one. So we're going to go ahead and rock with Houston in the first half, minus 12.5 here for Valentine's Day. That is going to be the final free pick here for this video. As always, my top plays over on picksandparlays.net. You guys can also follow me on X at GetSportStrong. Let me know what you guys like for today. Make sure to always wager responsibly, and I will see you guys on the next one.